The roar of the international entertainment world came to an abrupt halt when this shocking news emerged. Jungkook, the BTS member known for his calm and professional demeanor, was unable to hold back his tears in the midst of what appeared to be an ordinary situation. What exactly triggered this emotional reaction? Why were two international figures, Justin Bieber and Taehyung, quietly involved in a decision that seemingly determined Jungkook's future? These questions are not merely ordinary speculation, but initial clues to a story full of intrigue, secrets, and potential major implications for the careers and images of the artists. Unofficial sources emerging from social media, particularly TikTok and Twitter, indicate that several secret meetings took place between Justin Bieber and Taehyung, far from public attention. These meetings are believed to have focused on strategies that could provide both protection and opportunities for Jungkook in facing the often harsh and high-pressure global music industry. In fact, some clues point to the possibility that decisions made during these meetings directly impacted Jungkook's choices for future music projects and collaborations. This phenomenon raises a fundamental question. Was Jungkook crying because of the professional burden he had carried, or was there a personal element involved, perhaps related to his emotional relationship with Taehyung and the impact of this decision on their public image? Fanbase sources report that the moment was captured in several short videos, where Jungkook's expression shows a mixture of fear, confusion, and deep relief. This reaction cannot be taken lightly, as it reflects the complexity of pressures experienced by young artists in facing global expectations. Furthermore, Justin Bieber's involvement adds another layer of complexity. Bieber, known for his influence in the Western music industry, is suspected of providing strategic advice and personal support for Jungkook. This raises critical questions. Was Bieber's role merely that of a mentor, or is there a hidden strategy underway to position Jungkook in certain global projects? This secret interaction opens speculation on how cross-cultural collaborations can affect an individual's career in a highly competitive industry, while also questioning the boundaries between professional and personal relationships. Equally intriguing, Taehyung seems to play a key role in maintaining Jungkook's emotional balance throughout this process. Some circulating videos show Taehyung present with attentive care, providing clear guidance while still maintaining Jungkook's confidence. The question then arises, is Taehyung acting as a mediator, advisor, or even the person making the final decisions regarding Jungkook's future? This interaction becomes a focal point because it reveals a complex dynamic rarely seen by the public. In this context, fans have begun interpreting every gesture as a clue. From the comments circulating, many believe that Jungkook's moment of crying was not merely a spontaneous emotional response, but part of a major decision-making process involving the overall direction of his career. This sparks serious discussion. Has the entertainment industry placed young artists in a position that is too vulnerable, where crucial career decisions must be made under intense public pressure and global expectations? Further speculation arises regarding the long-term implications of Justin Bieber and Taehyung's actions. Some fanbase analysts believe that this move marks a turning point in international relations between Korean artists and the Western music market. The pressing question is, does this secret action indicate a strategic collaboration that will change the global music landscape? Or is it merely a protective step for Jungkook's image, which is beginning to face increased media pressure? Behind the scenes, anonymous internal sources emphasize that this decision cannot be taken lightly. Every step has been carefully analyzed, considering potential impacts on Jungkook's reputation, mental health, and professional opportunities. The fact that Jungkook responded with tears shows the weight of the burden he felt, while affirming that this decision carries real emotional consequences. The question fans must answer is, are we aware of how fragile an artist's position is in facing such complex and urgent industry strategies? Equally compelling is the public reaction, divided between admiration and concern. Many fans feel touched seeing Jungkook's human side, while others question whether Bieber and Taehyung's involvement is excessive or even potentially controversial. This raises a reflective question. To what extent should artists involve third parties in their personal and professional decisions? And does the public have the right to judge or merely witness a process that is highly private? Additional clues strengthen speculation that this secret action relates to a very large global project. No official details have been released, but indications from schedules, private meetings, and changes in Jungkook's behavior suggest that something significant is happening. The critical question arises: is Jungkook preparing for a project debut that will go global, or is this step a risk mitigation strategy to protect his image and mental health? This moment, even if not officially announced, offers an important lesson about power dynamics, influence, and strategy in the modern entertainment industry. The meaning of Jungkook's tears, Bieber's involvement, and Taehyung's role is not just a single incident, but reflects the complexity of a system that demands precision, sacrifice, and decisions often made under relentless public pressure. A reflective question emerges: can we as fans and observers fully understand the pressures artists face, or are we merely seeing the dramatic surface deliberately presented to create an emotional narrative? Ultimately, this article is not just a report of events, but an invitation for readers to reflect on the reality behind the glamorous spotlight. Jungkook crying is not a symbol of weakness, but a real representation of the complexity hidden behind success and popularity. Decisions involving Justin Bieber and Taehyung show that professional strategy and emotional support go hand in hand, and both elements are crucial in determining Jungkook's future. The final question remaining: will all these secret actions yield the expected results, or will we witness unforeseen consequences of steps that seem strategic, yet carry significant risks? Speculation, clues, and surprises are far from over. Every detail, from behind-the-scenes interactions to Jungkook's facial expressions captured on camera, provides an indication that there is more than meets the eye. Readers are invited to continuously monitor every step, analyze every movement, and question every piece of information that emerges. The fact that Jungkook's tears became a primary focus indicates one thing: the modern entertainment industry is not only about music or performance, but also about mental resilience, interpersonal relationships, and the ability to make critical decisions under extraordinary pressure. Thus, this story is not only about Jungkook, Taehyung, and Justin Bieber, but also about how a young artist faces a world full of expectations, strategic decisions, and intense public pressure. The lingering question in everyone's mind remains the same: does this emotional moment mark the beginning of something bigger, or is it merely one episode in a long journey full of challenges and intrigue? The public can only wait while realizing that every step, every action, and every tear has a meaning far deeper than what appears on the surface. The question still lingers in the public mind: do Jungkook's recorded tears truly reflect the emotional pressure he experienced, or are they part of a narrative construct deliberately built to attract media and global public attention? Every video, comment, and report appearing on platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, or other social media provides clues that seem real. But can all of this really be trusted? As observers and fans, we face a critical dilemma. To what extent can we distinguish between fact and manipulation in an entertainment world full of promotional strategies and commercial interests? Jungkook's emotional reaction has sparked widespread speculation. Some fans see the tears as an expression of stress due to overwhelming professional burdens and responsibilities, while others question whether the moment was orchestrated to create a dramatic impression for engagement and sensationalism. The reflective question arises: do we realize that the media, even when appearing objective, often shapes public perception through information selection and framing? Are we merely passive witnesses, or do we have the capacity to judge the truth behind each circulating report? The involvement of Justin Bieber and Taehyung adds a layer of complexity that is hard to ignore. Are their actions genuinely for Jungkook's well-being and future, or is there another hidden motivation, perhaps related to global collaboration strategies, artist positioning, or simply image enhancement in the public eye? Every action carried out secretly and without official announcement raises a critical question. How much influence do third parties have on an artist's decisions, and does the public have the right to judge or only to witness? In this context, skepticism becomes an important tool to filter information received, so as not to be swept away by sensationalism that often obscures facts. Furthermore, the role of social media as the main source of information in this case presents an ethical dilemma. Videos, posts, and comments circulating on TikTok, Twitter and YouTube give an impression of transparency, but to what extent can we trust their authenticity? Do these platforms present verifiable facts, or merely repeat polished information to create a dramatic effect? The fundamental question every fan must answer is, do we truly understand the context behind circulating content, or are we merely absorbing information passively without assessing its validity? Moreover, Jungkook's crying moment also prompts important reflection on the pressures faced by young artists. Does the entertainment industry place them in a reasonable position, or have public and media expectations created extreme conditions that force them to display emotions publicly? On the other hand, Justin Bieber and Taehyung's involvement raises additional questions. Is their support strategic and professional, or is their interference affecting public perception of Jungkook? Here lies the importance of critical thinking. Every action that appears real may have hidden layers of manipulation, and every emerging speculation. It is important to highlight the information sources. The information we have compiled comes from various social media and online platforms, yet its truth still needs further verification. This raises a serious question. To what extent can we trust the news circulating in the digital world? Are we ready to accept the possibility that some reports are deliberately shaped to create a dramatic narrative benefiting certain parties? Awareness of potential hoaxes and manipulation is the first step in assessing every piece of information skeptically and reflectively. Fan-base reactions become an important indicator in understanding the emotional impact of this event. Many feel touched, even shaken, witnessing Jungkook's expression, while others question the motives behind each report. The critical question arises: do fans only see the dramatic surface, or can they evaluate facts based on in-depth analysis? Is the sympathy purely emotional, or has it already been influenced by media framing deliberately constructing a certain narrative? We must also consider potential long-term implications. If Justin Bieber and Taehyung's actions are truly strategic, does this mark a new era of global collaboration involving Korean and Western artists? Or is it merely a temporary risk mitigation step? Every possibility opens room for critical discussion. Does the modern music industry provide sufficient space for artists to make independent decisions? Or are they always under the influence of others, whether management, mentors, or external parties with certain interests? Furthermore, it is important to emphasize reflection for the public. Can we as fans separate fact from dramatization? Or do we become part of a sensationalization mechanism that unconsciously reinforces a narrative that may not be true? This question demands introspection. To what extent do we assess information objectively? And to what extent are we simply swept away by the emotional effects displayed on social media? Ultimately, this incident, including Jungkook's tears and Justin Bieber and Taehyung's involvement, is not merely a single occurrence. It is a mirror of how the modern entertainment industry operates, full of pressure, information manipulation, and strategic interests that sometimes conflict with the artist's well-being. Is the public ready to accept the reality that behind every emotional expression, there is a complex strategy rarely seen? And more importantly, are we willing to think critically, question every narrative, and not be easily trapped in hoaxes or sensationalism? Each of these questions is not only relevant to Jungkook's case, but also for understanding the dynamics of modern media in general. We face an ethical dilemma: absorb information skeptically and reflectively, or accept narratives passively and become part of sensationalism. This decision is key in determining whether we as viewers can be critical observers capable of judging facts, or whether we are merely passive consumers of media-stage drama. In facing this situation, critical thinking becomes more important than ever. The public is invited to assess every video, comment, and report with careful analysis. Is the existing evidence strong enough to prove the truth of the event? Or are we only seeing interpretations constructed to evoke emotion and engagement? This question must form the basis of reflection. To what extent can we distinguish between fact and fabrication? And to what extent are we willing to maintain objectivity amid the flood of information circulating in the digital world? Awareness of possible information manipulation does not mean excessive skepticism, but rather the consciousness to weigh facts carefully. In the context of Jungkook, Taehyung, and Justin Bieber, every action, every expression, and every report must be analyzed deeply. Are Jungkook's tears a reflection of real pressure or part of a narrative strategy? Is third-party involvement truly for the artist's benefit, or is there another hidden motivation? All these questions demand that the public think critically, skeptically, and reflectively, not merely accept information raw. Finally, this moment serves as an important reminder. The modern entertainment world is never simple, and every piece of circulating information requires critical evaluation. As viewers, we have the responsibility to question, assess, and reflect on every emerging narrative. Are we confident that this event is real, or are we merely part of a construct deliberately created for media sensationalism? Do news, articles, or scripts reflect facts, or are they tools to attract attention and influence public perception? These questions are not merely rhetorical, but a call to uphold critical, skeptical, and reflective attitudes in facing every piece of information we receive. Thus, Jungkook's tears, Justin Bieber's involvement, and Taehyung's role are not merely an emotional story, but also a mirror of industry dynamics, media strategy, and the public's need to remain critically aware. We are reminded that behind every dramatic moment, there are questions demanding answers, questions about truth, motivation, and the integrity of information. Are we ready to respond with a reflective and analytical attitude, or will we merely be passive spectators of a deliberately constructed drama? The answer to this question determines the extent to which we can understand the reality behind the glamorous spotlight and sensationalism surrounding the modern entertainment world.